Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and here we have Game 2 in a best-of-3 series between NesTea and NextGenius. These guys are very, very good South Korean players. Genius actually won the BlizzCon StarCraft 2 tournament. NesTea won the GSL Season 2 tournament for over $85,000 US prize money, and he is the Blue Zerg. NesTea is the Blue Zerg down on the bottom left of Xel'Naga Caverns, NextGenius in the top right as the red Protoss. And in Game 1 on Steps of War, Genius actually was just relentlessly warping in units for a good 8 or 9 minutes in a row, just smashing NesTea's roaches and lings and queens and spine crawlers as hard as he could until eventually NesTea broke and had to type GG. On this game, the rush distance is going to be a lot longer, even though it is still a 2-player map. It's kind of like Steps of War doubled in size, so NesTea should feel a little bit more comfortable here if he was uncomfortable against Genius on Steps of War. He actually never managed to get that natural expansion thriving. He didn't attack and didn't really end up doing much damage. He killed off like a pylon and maybe a couple of units before being force fielded out and forced to retreat back home. Genius, on the other hand, pretty good defense there early, though it looked like he had 2-gate into 4-gate planned from the start, never even expanded himself. Even when he had the upper hand, he was just going for the killing blow with relentless warp-ins at the middle of the map, pushing on NesTea's natural. But NesTea is actually going to expand first here on Xel'Naga Caverns, so that is a bit different from Game 1, and I'm not sure when he's going to drop the spawning pool, probably in short order here, either at 14 or 15. Yes, there is the spawning pool at 14. No gas just yet, so Speedling's probably not going to be his first order of business. He might just go straight to Banelings or Roach Warren. I like this drone patrolling down here, trying to make sure he knows when this probe moves out of his base. And actually tries to get us around there, but Genius does manage to escape with his probe, and that patrolling drone actually came up the ramp, so he's no longer being efficient either. But the extractor does go up now. It's pretty good timing for another Roach Warren type build for NesTea, and he does want to try to get this natural hatchery going a lot faster than the last time. Genius actually going 2-gate yet again, got that second gateway before the Cybernetics core, which is interesting. I don't actually see Protoss do that a lot. It's a small deviation from the very standard Protoss build, but really it's just swapping the order of the second gateway and the Cybernetics core, with a focus on getting units out earlier rather than getting that warp gate research out earlier. And this probe of Genius is back for more. He wants to just keep tabs on NesTea the entire game, see what's going on. No Roach Warren up just yet, despite being able to afford it. 2 queens are being built right now, so all the macro items, 2 queens, 1 overlord, and actually 2 lings now being built for NesTea. It was a drone a second ago, and there he just did finish, and he's being transferred over to the natural. NesTea does have his 2 gateways done. He's making stalkers out of both of them and chrono boosting his warp gate research. Another pylon is dropped down here. That's a great spot for it, as he can warp in down at the bottom of this cliff, actually seal off his ramp if he chooses to do so, and still be able to get units out. These 2 stalkers are actually going to be looking all over the place for hidden expansions. I like that move. I don't know how often he actually runs into that, but it's always nice to double check and make sure that the Zerg isn't trying to be super sneaky. Damaga is one Zerg in particular who will expand to just a crazy base right at the beginning of the game. I don't know if NesTea is actually like notorious for that or not, but Genius doing a thorough job anyway, and actually finding an overlord here that he can kill. So unless it gets over this high ground very quickly, it is going to go down. NesTea with 36 over 30. Yeah, he's not supply blocked, so he should be fine. He's sending all these lings right now to combat these stalkers. Zergling speed is not done yet, though, so these stalkers actually could kite for quite a while, unless they get surrounded like that. Oh, wow, NesTea actually manages to surround a stalker despite not having Zergling speed just yet, and once this kicks in here, I have to believe he'll be able to catch and destroy the second stalker as well. It doesn't have that much life left anyway. Oh, Zergling speed just takes forever to finish. Never mind. Genius actually does get safely home, but it looks like it's going to go down anyway. Genius does not want to pull this Zealot here off of hold position and let those lings in. NesTea actually sacks an Overlord here to see these 4 warp gates of Genius. No expansion just yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if NesTea goes into just full macro mode. You see this Roach Warren in the production tab finishing up now, but 5 drones being built. how much money does he have? Not quite enough to do a full round of roaches as soon as that Warren's done, but he should be, you know, at least realizing that a lot of units are going to be at his front door relatively soon from Genius. Here we see this nice tier 1 mix already. Genius poising his probe right here at his natural to be able to build a nexus of his own soon. It looks like he is saving some money here too, so he's going to be able to keep up economically with NesTea. If we look at the worker count right now, NesTea actually isn't very far ahead either, even now with this second hatchery up early. 35 drones to only 32 probes of Genius. Not really that big of a deficit for him. And Genius actually is getting a higher gas income right now off of 2 assimilators than NesTea is getting off of just that one. But all these Lings actually now about to poke in. They do see all those units and decide it's not really the best idea to sacrifice these Lings just yet, so he's just going to continue running around the map. He's got control of the Xel'Naga Tower, or at least did for a moment there. I wouldn't be surprised if he just sent 1 Ling to each tower just to control those for the time being and see if and when Genius decides to move out. But NesTea is breaking down these destructible rocks now, so he probably will be expanding here as soon as those go down. Lots of roaches are out now. 8 roaches came out of that first wave. If you look at the production tab, 18 more Lings coming now, so it looks like NesTea is going to be going for some sort of early bust, or at least try to take out that natural expansion of Genius. Genius with lots of sentries here and a couple of cannons coming up might be able to defend this with some well-placed force fields, but that is a lot of units. 83 supply army about to crash into a 61 supply army, and he actually splits his forces right here, gets the roaches to approach from the south, and the Lings look like they were going to approach from the north there and try to get us around, but these cannons and nice force fields prevent them from really doing so. Lings finally do get around on the other side of these sentries, try to take them out, but end up just running away and getting slaughtered. These roaches aren't going to be able to do anything. Obviously, they can't get past these force fields, so NesTea still at 66 food. Nothing really was killed off there. Maybe a couple of Lings and a Stalker or 2, but not really a great exchange for either player. Didn't really matter that much, so I guess give props to Genius for holding that off without any losses. And NesTea just, you know, actually doing a good job retreating, realizing he's not going to get any damage done, and waiting for more tech to arrive. Here he is getting the lair, and it is about to finish right now. Yes, it does finish. He's throwing up a Spire, so he's going to need gas 3 and 4. There we see he's already been planning this transition, as he does have those going right now. If you look at the income tab, his gas is way ahead. He's only a few harvesters ahead, but his mineral and gas are both doing quite well. He's got this gold cleared up. If he wanted to put that drone here and make a hatch, he could, but it looks like instead he's going to be taking out the destructible rocks, joining his 2nd and 3rd bases, and dropping the hatchery at his 3rd for the time being. He actually easily connect these 2 bases with creep as well, despite already almost having this area creeped out. But NesTea actually poked out a little bit there, went all the way down to the watchtower, but decided he didn't want to move just yet. He's adding on 2 more gateways now, so no additional tech for Genius. That actually means that burrowed roaches could be quite an effective strategy for NesTea if he wasn't already going Mutalisks. It looks like he is obviously going to be banking on that for the time being. He is getting roach speed upgraded now, while Genius actually gets ground armor level 1. He's already got weapons level 1, so he is content to start moving across the map yet again. Is he going to go down to that 3rd base? No, it looks like he's going to come across the gold just to make sure there's nothing there. He'll see this creep and drop a pylon at the closest area possible for more warpins off of those 6 gates, actually soon to be 6 gates, still only 4 for the time being, but Genius doing a good job with map control. I don't know if he's going to see these Lings. Might have to do a picture-in-picture here soon if I see that red blob start to move, but these Lings come in and decide that they're not going to do anything. Actually, a lot of them die there, and some more Lings actually run past his army. Genius just letting those Lings do what they want as he presses down, splits the forces of NesTea, doesn't actually trap too many of them, but these Lings coming back home from Genius's natural expansion are going to pin these Stalkers in place a little bit. More force fields going down, trying to slow down the roaches, but there are so many more roaches than there are Stalkers right now. I have to believe NesTea is going to be able to hold this off, and this next round of Warpins might help out Genius, but the roach count is still higher than the Stalker count. Now it looks a little bit even, and these Zealots actually could turn the tide here. More roaches coming in from the very close natural of NesTea, though, going to be able to force this away from his gold area. He's actually going to continue pursuing a little bit, kill off that last Stalker, and then take out the pylon, so no more Warpins can happen for now. So Genius reeling a little bit. He's at 80 supply right now, NesTea at 109, and now he has Mutalisks coming from that newly completed spire. So these flying units, of course, of NesTea are going to help tremendously for harassment tactics and keeping Genius where he wants him. NesTea does have a pretty stout ground defense still here with all these roaches, and these mutas can only help him. He could actually poke in the back here, take out some pylons, take out some probes. Gateways number 7 and 8 are coming. 8 gateway off of 2 bases. Let's check the income tab, just see how that's coming along. They're both at 60 and 61 harvesters, so that's still pretty even despite NesTea being on 3 bases. He is getting a lot more gas because he did drop geysers number 5 and 6 there. The mutas are starting to move now, but Genius is starting to move with his big old ball of tier 1 units. The mutalisks actually poke in now. They skip right past the gateways and the pylons. I like that move. He's going to go straight for the probes. Now I'm going to switch to Genius's main army and leave these mutalisks in the picture-in-picture. Here we go. Genius actually pressing in now. He doesn't care quite so much about those mutalisks. He wants to try and do some damage while he can, while those mutalisks continue to kill off some probes. Now the mutas are coming back to join NesTea's main army. He is trying to drop another hatch here just for more unit production capabilities, pulling a lot of drones here to try and combat these many stalkers. 24 stalkers right here for Genius. Going to be able to take out some mutalisks pretty quickly, but the roaches, drones, and queen moving along here, coming to help. I'm not sure who's going to win this fight, actually. Those drones started to go down pretty quick there. Look at this huge round of warpins here. Lots of stalkers and zealots coming in. Mutalisks are being thinned out quite quickly here. Lots and lots of stalkers still alive for Genius. NesTea's forced to run back a little bit. He did actually retreat there with everything, and now the stalker's pressing in, probably going to be able to kill off this hatchery without too much resistance. Roaches coming in from all sides now for NesTea. He might even want to try to do a flank here and pull some roaches from the top. Lots of units alive here. Another round of warpins. 4 more stalkers come in. NesTea, or Genius actually, is limited by his gas, but NesTea's starting to fight back now. It looks like these constant roach reinforcements are going to be able to push him back all the way back to his pylon here. More warpins coming, but Genius cannot get enough money fast enough to spend it all, and NesTea, doing quite well off of those 3 bases, is able to reinforce right away, so he might be able to push him back all the way here. 6 roaches, lots of lings, a couple of mutas still coming in. Genius looks like he is going to abandon this game plan, or at least push back a little bit and gather his thoughts. He's sitting here with actually kind of a mediocre-sized army here, only 13 stalkers against a lot of lings, several roaches, and a couple of mutalisks. We'll see when Genius is content enough with his army size to actually push out. He's got 86 supply against 119. You'd think with NesTea's giant advantage in army size that he would be doing a lot better here, but actually a lot of that supply is tied up in these roach eggs. 19 roaches being built right now, as well as flyer attacks level 2 being researched. On the other hand, Genius is just warping in whatever he can off of those 8 gateways. He's got to be mined out soon at his main. He only has this one other base mining, and NesTea's still on 3 bases. He's fully saturated here, and Genius starts to move down the side here to take out the 3rd, but NesTea able to sort of defend this here with just lings for the time being, or at least push him back, keep him from actually damaging anything too much. All these roaches here and lings just bouncing back and forth. Genius being careful not to engage in a bad spot. Oh, that pylon is taken out by a large wave of roaches coming around the backside, so Genius actually going to be flanked here. He drops a force field there, but to what effect, I'm not sure. All these stalkers are now trapped between 2 big walls of roaches. Here we see him pressing in on both sides. Lots of stalkers still alive, but they're starting to go down one by one here to this mass of roaches. Look how many roaches there are compared to stalkers. It looks like about 20 to about 8 at this point, and these stalkers, yes, are starting to finally fall all the way down here. Genius's army size is down to only 69 supply, while NesTea is at 142. That's pretty amazing stuff. So Genius actually loses his entire army, calls GG. He knows that this roach counterattack is going to mess up his world, so he just does not even want to fight it out. He banked too much into that attack, never expanded, and actually similar to Game 1, but in Game 1 he was able to win with his constant aggression. In Game 2, NesTea just had way too much production capability, especially with this 4th hatchery never dying, and he was able to repel that attack and eventually kill off his whole army. The counterattack, like I said, Genius knew it would kill him, so he just GG's on out of there and looks to Game 3 to be able to try and take out NesTea. NesTea, of course, wants to continue on to the round of 8 as well, so we'll see how they do in Game 3.